Pastor Angela, as a moderator of Mosaic Minor Conference, will give us an update of a board process relating to the assembly that we had. So I have a few questions. First is, what are actions that the board took this time around?
Yes, we did several things this past Monday night. First of all, we are grateful for Dr. Herman Tagastumi, who is the chair of our conference-related ministries committee, and he is on the board as the chair of that committee, and this was his final meeting with us. And so we were able to have a time of appreciation and affirmation. He led our devotions, and so we took time to thank him and his many contributions to our board. We also gave affirmation for the Properties Committee to purchase a building in Levittown, the Highland Park Community Church. And so Bethel Teaching and Worship Center, which is a new congregation that is meeting there, they will be able to continue meeting there, as well as other community groups that are meeting there. But the Properties Committee is going to move forward with purchasing that building. And we also reviewed the Q1 plans for the strategic plan. So stay tuned for the podcast, the priority guides, all of the good potlucks and getting our cookbook underway and things like that.
So, Pastor Angela, what are some key takeaways from this year assembly?
Yes, there are many. There are so many things that happen at Assembly. And now this year it was, again, Nations and Generations met Friday evening. The CRM leaders and other pastors met Friday morning. Dennis Edwards led 2 sessions on Friday, those 2 sessions, as well as then our session Saturday morning for worship. And so many takeaways. Obviously, people really enjoy seeing one another. A lot of times we just see each other in little boxes on Zoom, whether it's at a committee meeting or steering committee or prayer group, but it's really good to see people in person. For some people, last year was their first year, and then this year it's, oh, this is really fun. I know more people. And so those things continue to happen. Those are always signs of life and health in our Mosaic community. Worshiping together, recognizing the newly credentialed leaders, that is always a meaningful time. We really appreciated Reverend Dr. Dennis Edwards' encouragement to us about walking humbly with God. But we also enjoy being able to drum together and make music with different rhythms together. That is always a fun time for us. We are outgrowing our space. We are aware that God is up to something. In some ways, it feels like Mosaic is this new wine that God has given us, and we are trying to figure out the new wineskins to put it into. And so that is stretching us. It's changing us, but it is exciting to be a part of what God is doing among us. And I just heard about so many informal conversations and formal table group conversations where the Spirit just shows up. And that is such a gift. Sometimes it is hard and uncomfortable and stretching, but we're leaning into it, and we value their time together, hearing one another's stories, and living into what it means to really truly embody the reconciling love of Jesus in this broken and beautiful world. It's new, it's different, but man, it feels really good to be together.
Pastor, in what ways did the board process the feedback from assembly?
Yes, we got lots of feedback. We had all of the table group conversation feedbacks, plus all of the feedback from the ballot forms. So a big thanks to staff that typed that all up for us, as well as the word clouds. And there will be more information coming out in Mosaic News about the word clouds. And that was a new way to use technology to hear from one another in a live time. There's really good conversations at our table groups. There's a lot happening, and it's hard to do all of it. For some of us, it's easier to talk than to listen, and we are living into how to do that well. And I think the feedback is this idea of mutual transformation, being God's mosaic together. Listening is hard work, but it also is really meaningful work and feels like it's us being church together. We're grateful for moving ahead with the partnership and fleshing that out and finding more details. Congregations and CRMs are serving Jesus in a multitude of ways, and it looks different in different locations, and it is just good to hear about it, and it is good to wrestle with what God's Spirit is doing amongst us.
what is something that you think we should know about God's provision?
Well, I'm just going to share the text that Dr. Sagastumi introduced us. It's the Praying Scriptures text that we always use to open our board meetings. It was from Hebrews 10, verses 24 to 25. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. And let us not neglect our meeting together as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near. There are some hard things that we are tackling. There are things that we are waiting on the Lord and the Spirit to move us. But Jesus unites us, and God is faithful. And we're going to continue to encourage one another. And that gives me hope. That gives me life. And we see so many signs of Mosaic. Even when it can be hard and difficult, there's so much goodness around us too.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor Angela.
Thank you. Good night. Bye.